some Rolling Stones song. Maybe next week. Bossa.
Can we have some love for the band, please? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome if you're joining us on the live stream. We're so glad to have you with us. I'm Reverend Deanne Morency. I'm the Associate Minister. So I know some of you haven't seen me in a while. It's wonderful to be back here with you.
Yeah, and it's great to be back on platform with you. It's been a while.
I know.
So, hi, everybody. I'm looking at our picture on the live stream, too, going, we are, oh, I didn't turn mine on. That's what's going on. Yeah. It helps if you turn on.
He needs to turn on the power to his microphone.
Okay, so for those of you online, it helps if you turn it on. Is the spiritual lesson of the day.
It is, actually. It ties in beautifully with the talk.
It helps if you turn on. Hi, welcome everybody. Let's start again.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Deanne Morency.
And I'm Reverend Ken Daigle. And we are delighted to be on platform together again. And
The show is back in town, you guys.
and be with you all. Look at you all. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. And this gorgeous day in San Francisco. So right now as we speak, I have family members hunkered down in Louisiana. I have family members who have evacuated, including my mom. My brother called me yesterday. He drove 8 hours down from Atlanta to pick up my mom, put her in the car, and drive her back 8 hours, all in the same day. And all they did was sing show tunes all day to keep mom distracted. So she didn't know. She wouldn't ask every 5 minutes, where are we? Where are we going? What's going? Mom has dementia. And so my brother is earning points. Ding, ding, ding. So, and he would call me every hour last night, and we'd sing another show tune together.
I'm having this wonderful image.
Yeah.
It's a lovely image in the midst of what's happening in Louisiana as Hurricane Ida
So we're,
comes
yeah.
hits landfall right
There is
now.
no lack of needed prayer right now.
Oh.
In Louisiana, in Afghanistan, in
Haiti,
Haiti, in the wildfires up north, all around the globe, in our lives, in Delta across the United States and the world. There's need for our consciousness, our prayer, our understanding that wherever we are and whatever is going on, the activity, the energy, the presence of the divine is at work.
And I want to be clear, if you're new to Unity and if you're watching us maybe for the first time, that what we know and believe in Unity is not that we are sending prayers somewhere. That's not what we believe. What we believe and what we know is that we are the living expression of the divine. And that as I anchor, so our prayer is very unique and very special, and I'm kind of giving you the preview to my talk today. But the idea is that we actually become the thing that we want to see in the world. And as we do that, somewhere in the world, someone else can access that within themselves because we have opened up a space. And so it's not this passive, oh, I'm going to send prayers, which is lovely and it feels really good, but it's an active participation within ourselves to truly create a world that works for everyone.
Right. So if we want health, we are the embodiment of health. And we anchor it and create it first here, so within, so without.
If
we
we
want
want
peace.
We have to be that which we are. It's available to us, right? We
Right
need
here
to
now.
be the peace.
So I'm going to invite Misa to the platform and to understand this song in a new way.
I'm going to leave.
All right. She'll be back. And Misa and our band, to take us into this moment, I invite you all to breathe and to exhale. As you exhale, to let the chair at home, in your car, wherever you are listening to my voice, let the chair hold you. Let the floor and this building hold you. Let the air comfort you. And let these words and this music transport you.
The brokenness inside, I am light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dreams I've left behind. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race, my soul inside. All light. I am divinity defined. I am God on the inside. I am a star shining peace over it all. Light, light, light. All
All light. Breathing, continuing to breathe into this moment. Breathing in this moment. Quieting the mind. Stilling the heart. Deepening into the silence. Listening. Allowing. Open and receptive to divine guidance. Dissolving limited understandings. Letting go of what I think I know. Accessing infinite wisdom. I am the knower that knows. I am divinely guided. I live and breathe into infinite wisdom with ease and grace. Today and every day. And so it is. And so we let it be. Amen and Ashe. That beautiful poem, prayer, reflection, is by our own Reverend Deanne, and it's in this book, The Power of Prayer, which is in the seats in front of you. And if you'd like to have a copy of this book, which contains prayers and reflections from Deanne, myself, and a host of other Unity leaders from around the country, I invite you, if you're online, to put your name in our chat section or drop us a note in your connection card, and we will gladly send you one. Otherwise, take one home, take two home if you want, if you're here in the sanctuary, and bring them to a friend, give them to a stranger, and share the gift of this amazing prayer book. Our prayer chaplains are also here with us. They were just holding space for us, holding that consciousness, that place for us all to know that truth. And if there is a prayer request that you are holding in your heart, you don't have to hold it alone. You can put it in the chat right now if you're online. You can fill out a prayer request right here in our sanctuary in the prayer chaplain corner and put it in the box. The prayer chaplains will also be here in the sanctuary to pray with you after service, as well as online. So let yourself take advantage of these amazing prayer chaplains and come into the power of prayer with us. So right now is a great time to fill out the front of our spiritual connection cards. If you're in the sanctuary, again, right in front of you, in the seat in front of you, is our bulletins. We are putting them in the seats so we don't have to hand them out to you. It's another of our COVID protocols. If you fill out the front of the connection card with your name and your address, and whether you're a first-time guest or a regular attendee or a member, that would be great, and we'll check in about the second half of the connection card after the talk. You can also do that online by clicking the button, if you're on our website, the Spiritual Connection card, and we will put it in the chat later if it's not there right now. All right? So take a moment and fill out that card for us as I invite our music team back onto platform. And we are going to sing one of my favorites, one of our new songs. It's called One Step. You may be familiar with it. It's got a really driving beat. So I invite you, as you're willing and able, and after you've finished your connection card, to stand. And at home, to stand with us. The words will be on the screen at home. They'll be on the big screen here. Invite you to make a joyful noise. We have noise makers. And to raise your voice in this song, One Step.
One step, one step, one step, one step. Old-time religion is a box I do not fit in. I am metaphysical, I am transcendent. Change the situation by changing your mind. Raise the vibration by knowing you are divine.
Make a mental path, one step, repeat. I surrender to the presence of the God in me. Make a mental path, one step, repeat. I am practicing the presence of the Goddess in me.
What do you believe? You've got to know your truth. Pure potential possibility, that is you. If you stand in opposition, you perpetuate the thing. What you resist, persist, so let love be what you bring.
Make a mental path, one step, repeat. I surrender to the presence of the God in me. Make a mental path, one step, repeat. I am practicing the presence of the Goddess in me. One step, one step, one step, one step.
Follow your intuition and the passion that you got. Be pulled by your vision, don't get pushed by your thoughts. Everything experienced is energetic. Be aware of energy you give and you get it. Out of the routine, slip into observer state. Change your mind by changing habits, choose a different way. Say
Yahoo, yes.
to your highest and your best. What you desire, you can straight up manifest.
Make a mental path, one step, repeat. I surrender to the presence of the God in me. Make a mental path, one step, repeat. I am practicing the presence of the Goddess in me.
One step,
one step, one step, one step, one step, one step, one step, one step.
All right, everyone, it's time for meet and greet. Please say hi to everyone in Zoom. Please respect people's personal preferences for social distancing. Happy Sunday.
Hello, everybody online. Mwah. So good to see you all there, and good to see you all in the room. So, all right. We're going to pass this back to platform now. Tyler is on the platform. We're going to turn the service back over that way. Thanks, Tyler. Take it away.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here, filling the sanctuary. Thank you for visiting with us online via Zoom and other platforms. Thank you for sharing your love. One of the things we engage in is divine reciprocity, that when we receive, we also give the opportunity for you to give. So when and if you feel that desire swelling within you, we do our best to make it as easy as possible. So if you want to give to Unity San Francisco, one easy way is use your cell phone, text Unity SF, send that to 44321. If you're on our website, there's a button just below the video for donations. There's also a donation link in the chat on YouTube and Facebook. And as you're here in the sanctuary, there is an offering envelope in the chair in front of you. So fill that out and leave it at the basket by the door. Just ways to celebrate giving and receiving. Now, we always ask one of our members to share why they give and receive here at Unity San Francisco. So today's member is our very own Reverend Ken.
Well, I'm actually not here to discuss why I give, but you give a minister a platform, there's no stopping them. And so I have two things I want to accomplish with you today. First off is someone came to Deanne and I right before service and was really open and heartbroken too about a family member who's experienced some rejection about their sexuality. And I remember finding Unity when I was a young man and finding a place where I could be fully myself and how safe that was and how mind-blowing and opening to create a space where I could be me. And now I'm a minister at Unity and a leader, a spiritual leader, not only tolerated or accepted, but honored. Celebrated in all of my being. And that's why I give to Unity. For the next person who comes through the door, who walks down the street, and for some reason isn't right by the world's standard, that they can walk in here and hear, we love you exactly as you are, period. No caveats, no exceptions. So I give my money, I give them my resources, I give them my talent here for that reason, so that the next person who walks through the door finds a vibrant and sustainable service, a place that they can express themselves and fulfill their divine potential, period. We sit in a building built on that idea, the generations that have come before us that have given. And about 2 years ago, we launched our capital campaign. We have 1 year left in our capital campaign. You can find it on our website. And this is Building Our Legacy. Right? Unity of San Francisco has existed for 112 years. 112 years of people just like you, sitting in chairs just like this, listening to messages like this, that have evolved, needless to say, but have evolved over the last, well, maybe that is needed to say. Our message has evolved over the last 100 years. And that's why we're here. Because we are listening to Spirit. We are listening to the expansion of our own consciousness and the collective consciousness as we lift and celebrate more and more people. Right? So we are evolving to what we can be, and we are building on the legacy of those who came before us. And I want to invite you all into that. Whether you're online or whether you're here in this physical space, there are lots of ways you can give, and I'm going to highlight one of them today. We sit in this beautiful room with our restored stained glass windows, thanks to many people who have given to all of that, and we have wonderful designs for everything that's going on here. But the one thing we need to fund is a new chandelier. Now, some of you may think that this one is fine. I want to just raise the proposition that if we fix everything else and leave that, we might be a little sad in the end. So the architects, the designers, and I have found this very reasonable price chandelier. Something that looks like this isn't quite it. We're working on the fine tuning, so don't get caught up on this one. But it is available from a company in Los Angeles, and it is quite the modern tech. It's all LED, it's all adjustable. We'll be able to raise and lower it if we need to clean it, but we don't have to climb up on ladders to change light bulbs anymore. Yay! The staff here is really happy. And it's available for sponsoring. It can be one person, it can be a group of people, and it can be paid out over 3 years. This chandelier is available for sponsoring for $25,000, less than the windows, and you can pay it out over time. So if you're interested in sponsoring this chandelier, come speak to me. If you're online and you don't want to sponsor something in the room, we have a whole page, a whole section of online, what you can sponsor to make this technology possible. I mentioned last week Barbara Renfro, who gave us a large gift in her estate. One of the first things we spent, some of Barbara's money was, on these cameras and the Livestream equipment. It cost $30,000 to buy these cameras and put in all the Livestream equipment. 35, as our accountant minister tells us. And that set us up perfectly for when COVID hit and we had to go fully online. No one could have known at the time that that was coming, but we were ready for it. And that's the gifts that you pay forward. So online, you can make gifts as small as $1,000 and pay it out over a year or two. You can make gifts as large as you want. There is no limit. We will take it all. And we create the legacy for the future. So that's why I give. That's why I donated for this window and why we are building a really vibrant future here. So there is an affirmation that we all know. If you want to speak to me about a gift, you can also just go to our website and check out all the possibilities, and I am to your ideas for it too. The affirmation is, I give with abundant love and joy. As I give, I receive. Can we know that together? I give with abundant love and joy. As I give, I receive. And so it is. And now I give you Albert Hodge.
Where I am, God is. Where I stand, God is standing strong. Where I breathe, God is breathing life in and out and through me. As me, where I sing, God is. Where I dance, joy lifts my feet. Where I live, beauty's flowing free, in and out and through me. As me. Oh, where I doubt, God is the faith in me. Where I cry, God is the comfort there. Where I seek, God is the answer. Here and now, forever and ever and ever. Where I speak, truth is. where I work. Love is my career. Where I pray, God is praying boldly, in and out and through me, as me. Oh, ooh, hey. Where I am, where I stand, where I play, where I work and breathe and move and be, where I sing, where I dance, my dance, my dance, my dance, wherever I go. Where I pray and take and give and live, God is. Truth is. Life is. Oh, God is.
Yes. Where I am, God is. So, this has been a rough couple weeks, huh? There has just been so much going on in the world. And the invitation, as always, is for us to deepen into the truth of who we are. And I call that practicing the presence. And the thing is, I am the presence, you are the presence, that we are being invited to practice being the divinity that we actually are. And sometimes that's easier than other times, right? This is what I have felt like lately. Right? Felt like this has just been like this giant thunderstorm of life that is just twirling around. And thank you, Alex, but I don't need to underscore this part of it because you're going to take me somewhere and I don't know where I'm going yet. So we had Haiti, which really hit me hard. My wife's family is in the Caribbean, and so it's they have a house there, and they were there, and they were fine in Martinique, but it's close, and it hits home, right? When you see that much destruction. And then we have everything that's going on in Afghanistan, and we have the fires, which I have been praying with a lot of people through Unity and Marin up in Novato. They're closer to a lot of that. So I've been doing a lot of pastoral care as people are literally having to evacuate their homes. I know of one person who not only had to evacuate her home, but she also had to evacuate 36 goats and 19 horses. And the entire community came together to help her get all of those animals to safety. So it's also a moment of upliftment in the midst of everything that's happening. But there's just a lot that is going on. As we mentioned, what's Hurricane Ida right now. And I lean into my spiritual practice, and I lean into the divinity that I am, and and I know that sometimes as I step into this practice, that there's a part of me that wants to create a little bubble, that thinks that if I pray hard enough, that if I anchor truth strong, with enough strength, with enough fortitude. I can stop the bad things from touching me. I can keep the people that I love somehow safe. And I think that I can create this bubble of prayer that actually keeps the world at bay, the world out there. But we don't believe that there is an out there. There's only one. There's only one power. There's only one presence. There is only one activity that is unfolding, and that is life, that is love, that is grace, that is beauty, even if I can't see it. So that bubble is what I call magical thinking. It's how we think that we can somehow magically keep ourselves in this space, this place where we're not being touched by anything except what's good. And that's not actually the truth of our teaching. The truth of our teaching is that we get to anchor the truth so that we can navigate anything that is arising in time and in space. Not that we are protecting ourselves from it, but that we are able to stand anchored in the truth of who we are. And from that place, we will not be moved. And that sounds great, doesn't it? But that's not always what we're feeling. So the invitation is for us to step into what I call the balancing point of the divine, where there is this place where we get to just stand. And whether the light, wonderful, feathery things are happening in our life, or whether the boulders seem to be descending upon us, that we stay centered and anchored in the truth of who we are. And that from that place, we get to meet ourselves and the world with more love, more grace, more joy, more compassion. That's what it means to practice the presence, to practice being divine right now, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when what's going on in the world is breaking my heart open again and again and again. That each time my heart gets broken open, guess what? More of my divine Christ nature gets to burst forth. More of the truth of who I am, more of the truth of who you are, can express in time and in space. So how do we do that, right? Because right now we are in this crazy liminal space. I don't know about you, but the past year and 2/3, we're not quite 2 years yet, the past year and 2/3, this has been like, and for those of you who don't know what a liminal space is, it's a fancy word for threshold, transitional space. And we have been living in a liminal space. We are betwixt and between. We have what was is no longer useful. What is coming, we have no idea. And I want to be really clear that whatever is going to be arising out of whatever is happening right now is a world we have never seen before. At least that's what I'm holding. Because the world that was certainly can use a whole lot of more love, more grace, more joy. So how do we, in this beautiful liminal, frustratingly liminal space, stand so that we can show up and truly create a world that works for everyone? Because as I said, our prayers are not about changing something out there. Our prayers are to change ourselves so that we show up in the world in a different way. So in my own journey for the past year and a half, I have narrowed it down to what I'm calling my 4 pillars, right? The 4 pillars of what I stand in, of what allows me to be anchored so that I don't have to live in a bubble. I know that I have the strength to meet whatever is now coming my way with ease and grace. And so the first one is meditation. Now this is the first 2. A meditation and affirmative prayer are the foundational teachings of unity. They are where our movement came out of. They are what our movement is based in. And we are anchored in this understanding. Meditation is where we get to allow ourselves to experience the I am that we are. It's about experience. It's actually the place where we do let the world fall away. It's actually the place where we get to access that which we are, which transcends time and space. And as we practice that, we literally are practicing quieting the mind, quieting the thoughts, quieting our attachment to the world, quieting the attachment to our physical body, quieting our attachment to our emotional state. Because there is that which we are, which is immutable and unchangeable, that is a constant. And as we sit in our meditative practice, we are learning how to be the I am. Now, from that place, which is a very powerful place, in Unity, we don't stop there. We don't just sit on our cushions. I spend a lot of time on my cushions, so I get to say that. We don't just sit on our cushions. We then have to figure out our fifth principle, which is that we are here to live into these truths. So how do I live into the I am that I am? That's where affirmative prayer comes in. So affirmative prayer is how we take the I amness that we are and we actually concretize and realize it in time and in space. It is how we bring our divinity to the world, to our day-to-day experience, to whatever it is that we are engaging with. It is the doorway by which we can actually show up in a different way, make a different choice, because we are anchored in the I am that we are. So for those who are new to affirmative prayer is very specific. We are not praying to something. We are not petitioning some outside God because we don't believe that there is an outside God. We believe that there is one power, one presence that is everywhere present. And from that place, we speak from our awareness of the truth of who we are. And as we speak from that clarity, we get to manifest it in time and in space. And it changes me. When I do affirmative prayer, I am changed. And I also know that as I stand in that transformation for myself, because there is only one power and one presence, one consciousness, as I stand in that for myself, guess what? You also get to stand in it. Everyone has this available accessibility for them to stand in that truth. We are called through affirmative prayer to be a force of transformation for ourselves and for the world, that we're up-leveling consciousness. Unity has been around for 130 years, right? 1889. And in that time, as Ken was saying, our consciousness has grown. Our consciousness has shifted and evolved and expanded. And do you know how that's happened? Through the power of affirmative prayer, through the power of us sitting in meditation and listening to the I am. This is how we individually grow and evolve, and this is how we as a community get to evolve and grow. Which brings me to the third pillar, the sacred Sangha. So just take a minute and look around. Just look around at the people who are here, and we're going to wave to everybody who is in Zoom, right? We're going to wave to everybody who is in Zoom because they are here with us as well. This, if COVID has taught us nothing else, it has taught us how important the power of community is. How important it is for us to come together like this, to actually be able to connect, to actually be able to be with each other in time and in space. And that sacred Sangha is where we get to, as a community, anchor these truths even more firmly. Because as one person understands, has a new understanding of something, understands love in a new way, understands prosperity in a new way, understands compassion in a new way, and then they show up transformed in this community, guess what happens to the rest of us? We show up with more compassion, with more love, with more abundance. I don't know if you guys can remember where Unity San Francisco was in prosperity consciousness before Ken came here. Can you guys remember that? When we first proposed the idea of selling our old building and buying a new one, the response was, but the building is Unity San Francisco. We have grown. We have evolved. Look around, just look at these stained glass windows. That was a $165,000 capital campaign, right? $165,000 capital campaign that we did in a year. Now, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, 9 years ago now? We're getting old, Ken. Saying that we were going to raise $165,000 in a year so that we could redo some windows. We have grown, we have evolved, we have become something more because we have come together in this community. And we're in agreement about why we're here. We're in agreement that we are here to be changed, that we are here to somehow show up as the divine. And that brings me to the last pillar, which in some ways has been the most challenging, vision. I don't know about you, but there has been, for me, it has been incredibly challenging in this liminal time to be able to see, to understand what the vision is, to be able to move towards something, because it's like everything is so amorphous. So we've been wandering together. Right? We've been wandering together. And in this place, we are called to access the vision. So the pain will push us until the vision pulls us. And I personally am so done with the pain. I don't need the pain to push me anymore. I don't, right? It took me a while to get there. I don't need the pain to push me anymore. I am ready for the vision to pull me. But we need the community to come together to create that vision. What are we going to create here in Unity San Francisco? Because whatever we're going to create here, guess what? We are creating that for the world. As we say yes right here, as we are willing to be changed, and I know it's hard, especially when we're in this liminal space, all we want to do is go back to what was familiar. Go back to what we knew. If we could only go back to what was, if we could only go back to when it was, fill in the blank. This powerful opportunity for us to name and claim a new vision is part of what we're being called to. And the first 3 pillars, meditation, affirmative prayer, and sacred sangha, they're actually what will help us understand what that vision is. As we sit in meditation, we open ourselves to divine guidance, as the prayer that Ken read at the very beginning. We open ourselves up to not what our personality, we bless our ego, but sometimes it gets fixated on stuff, doesn't it? It just doesn't want to let it go. So we get to practice in our meditation that we are larger than our understanding of our ego, of our personality. And then we get to, through affirmative prayer, activate that in time and in space. We get to actually stand in it and say, you know what? I am love, and that means that all of my interactions, I can show up in them in a whole new way. And I'm going to actually do that today. And then I struggle, and I fail, and then I get held by you, by this sacred community. This is what we're here to be and do, to grow and to support each other. And let me be clear, sacred sangha is not like some kumbaya thing, right? Sacred sangha means that there are people who are working your last nerve, and we love them, and we appreciate them, because it's where we rub up against each other that we get to grow. It's where we rub up against each other that a new understanding can emerge. It's where we rub up against each other that we get to say, oh, wow, look at how judgmental I'm being. Look at how hard I'm being. Look at how unrelenting I'm being. Look at how unforgiving I'm being. Look at how stubborn I'm being. That one's mine. Right? And in that space, we get to continually call ourselves to the vision that we are here to love and to be loved. And when we do this together, when we come together, so it's so hard. COVID has created this experience of splintering, of scattering. And it's asking something of us. It's asking us to understand community in a whole new way. It's asking us to understand intimacy in a whole new way. How do I be intimate and connected with you when I literally have something blocking half my face? How can I transcend what's happening in time and in space and actually live from the truth that I know? It's interesting because I watch kids, and I've been talking to a lot of teachers, and they've been saying how the kids are wearing masks and they're socially distancing, and they're still playing. They're yelling at each other across the cafeteria. They're still connecting. They're still running around because they don't have the same idea in their head that somehow this mask is a block to being able to connect. They're figuring out different ways to connect. They can't use people's mouths. They're figuring out another way. That's what we're being invited to as well. That's part of the vision. That is part of how we get to grow. And it isn't easy, right? But without vision, the people perish. And people means singular people. If I don't have vision for my life is going to become stale. My life is going to become like uneventful. It's going to become super, super comfortable. It's like a death knell to life, right? What we're being invited into is to always being stepping forward. I always say in my classes that we want to make the uncomfortable comfortable. We want to make the fact that we are on the leading edge of what we understand, that we're on the leading edge of who we are trying to become, and how uncomfortable that is. We want that to be our comfort zone. That's where we want to live from and choose from and act from. So it invites us to change our perspective, to be able to sort of shift how it is that we're holding ourselves and each other. And it's all too easy to get caught up in what's happening in time and space, right? All too easy for the experiences of our body to completely take over. Anybody who's experienced chronic pain knows what that feels like. It's all too easy for our emotional state to dominate our experience. Anybody in here have some anxiety? Knows what I'm talking about. It's all too easy for the mind to keep racing and running. Anybody in here not be able to sleep at night? Because the thoughts just won't stop. So this is where our experience in time and in space, the relative world, the changeable world, is controlling our understanding of who we are. And it's so fascinating to me that by its very definition, the relative world is going to change. Our thoughts, we have a new one right now. You have a new thought, right? Our emotions, they come, they go. They don't stick around. They're always changing. Our bodies are always in flux. And yet somehow we think that we can lock it in, that we can make it fixed. We can somehow turn that into the absolute. And we can't. The relative world will always be the relative world. But what we can do is place our focus on the truth of who we are and allow that to be more present in our experiences in the world than whatever it seems to be presenting itself. So take a look at this picture. And what do you see? Pillars, right? Everybody see the white pillars? And then does everybody see the people? Now, can you see both of them at the same time? Now, what I found is I tried to see both of them at the same time, really see both of them at the same time, not do a ting, 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 flip, 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 right? But really see both of them at the same time. It requires that I have to stop thinking about it. It requires that I have to unfocus almost on it and allow this other awareness to come forward. And that's what you're being invited into when you practice the presence. You're being invited to be able to be fully present with whatever is happening, the losses, the grief, the celebrations, and the joys, while at the same time you are firmly rooted and anchored in the truth of who you are. That is what it means to practice the presence. So Myrtle has this beautiful quote, if the light of understanding does not manifest as swiftly as you expect, do not be discouraged. The truths you plant are as seeds that are growing in the soil of your consciousness, and they are bound to bring forth their harvest, so that your whole consciousness will be illumined, spiritualized, transformed. So in this liminal space, I certainly know that my understanding has felt challenged at times. And I take Myrtle's words to heart, that it is not something that I need to be discouraged about, because that too is part of me practicing the presence. That too is part of my engagement in the world, not turning away, not running away, not doing what we call a spiritual bypass, not trying to slap an affirmation on whatever's happening in our life. You know, the old adage, you ask a unity person how they're doing, and they say, it's all good. What they really mean is, my life has gone to hell. All right? Can we actually say, this is really hard right now? This is really hard. Looking at the pictures of what's happening in Afghanistan is really hard. And I know that I am good. I know that I can stand in the truth of my being. And I know that as I anchor that right here and right now as my life, that guess what? Somewhere in Afghanistan, someone else is aware of that as well. And I think of this for the women of Afghanistan every day. That as I stand in my power, as I stand in my strength as a woman, as I stand in my capacity to have learned how to speak the way I'm speaking right now, because trust me, this was a journey for me to get here. That as I stand in this, that somewhere in Afghanistan, there is another woman, girl, who is accessing that exact same thing right now. That is actually how powerful we are when we practice the presence. It's not thoughts and prayers. It's not airy-fairy. It is deep, powerful, transformational work that we are each being invited into, so that we can truly make this a world that works for everyone. So let's take this into our time of meditation. I'm going to invite Albert to come up here and the music team. I'm going to invite you to just be right where you are. This is an opportunity to actually practice the presence, to touch the I am that is the very truth of your being, to quiet and to be still as we affirm and know that right now we are a blessing to the world.
We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world, is a blessing to the world.
So we breathe into this space, to this sacred awareness of the truth of who we are, the one life, the one breath, the one beingness. How good it is to know that it is always available, always accessible, this place, this space in consciousness that is love, that is light, that is joy, and that it can never be hurt, harmed, or endangered, that it is a constant that is sourcing and renewing us in our human experience always. So the invitation is to quiet the mind even more, to open the heart, and to still the body as we allow ourselves to rest and trust and know the I am that we each are. Let's rest here together in the silence. This is the space, the place that we live from, that we choose from. This is the most authentic expression of who we are. And we just welcome it in this moment. The invitation is to open and welcome the wisdom, the clarity, the peace. The invitation is in this moment is to know at the very core of our being, at the faith level of our understanding, that as we say yes, the world says yes. So see the peace that you are right now, everywhere present. See the joy that you are right now, everywhere present. See the compassion that is the very truth of your life. Ah, it is truly everywhere present. So it is in Louisiana, it is in Afghanistan, It is in Haiti. It is in all of those places that are being ravaged by fire. It is all of those places where any of us are feeling heartbroken. And just allow the truth, like a balm, to heal and to transform. Not just you, but see it transforming the world. How good it is to know that we truly are a blessing to this world.
We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world. I'm a blessing to the world.
And so it is. Amen. Ashe. I'm going to invite Tyler up.
Thank you for practicing together. We have this part of the service, we call it spiritual practices. If you're here in the sanctuary, you'll find the card in your bulletin. What we do is we take a moment of focus, and I set my intention, the divinity within me. I take my intellect and I set my intention. So if any of these suggestions ring true for you, then I invite you also to join with me, choosing that I am willing to anchor in faith, choosing that I am willing to celebrate my divinity. Even if I don't know how to do it, but I can choose to be willing. I right now choose to be willing to see the truth. And I am willing to practice the presence. And on the connection card, there's room for you to use a fifth option of writing your own intention. And also, this spiritual connection card is in the bulletin in the chair in front of you. Leave it in the basket by the door on your way out. But also, if you're viewing on our website, there's a button just below for spiritual connection, spiritual practices. And then there's also a link in the chat if you're on Facebook or YouTube for spiritual practices. Ways to set your intention, and then also, we agree with you. So there's another practice, the power of agreement. Another important part of this spiritual connection card is that if you're a first-time guest, just let us know. We'd just love to send you a little token of our love and appreciation. And thank you for practicing with us. Thank you to Deanne and to the music team and to everybody. Together we create this feeling, this space of sacredness. Now for the blessing of the children, something we also do every week. Let's welcome up Ken and Deanne.
Hi. So we have an affirmation that goes, you are God's perfect child. We love you exactly as you are. We are a God's perfect expression of divine life. I updated it and didn't remember that I updated it. And still I'm perfect.
Perfectly imperfect.
Exactly. You are God's perfect expression of divine life. We love you exactly the way you are. And if you get bent out of shape about how Dan and I are real sticklers for language, it's because that anthropomorphizing of the divine keeps us separate. Right? You're God's perfect expression of divine life. We love you exactly the way you are. Can we all know that together? You
are
God's perfect expression of divine life. We love you exactly the way you are. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah. And so thank you for joining us here. It is so wonderful to see so many of your faces here in the service and to be in your energy. Be in your energy field and to share it with the music team, with the music itself, with Deanne, with all of you. Thank you. I know it's not always easy to get up and out.
And if you're at home watching in your pajamas, thank you too.
Thank you for getting up and watching in your pajamas. If you're coming here to the service, which we really want you to, we are following the San Francisco guidelines, and for any public gathering like this, we have to be vaccinated. So if you're eligible to be vaccinated, which means you're 12 and above, please have your vaccination card, either electronic or in person, ready to show us, and there'll always be someone at the door to check that. It helps keep us all safe. If you have any questions about that, you can write us here in the office. We'd be glad to respond.
Absolutely. So, Sounds of Unity workshop. So, are we loving the music team? Can we give them some love? So, if you've always thought, I wish I could sing like that. I wonder if I could sing like that. Well, guess what? You can. And this workshop is a perfect opportunity for you to come and check it out. It's great fun. You do not have to identify as being a singer in any way, shape, or form. The idea is that we come together, we get to make sound together, we get to sort of play together. So it is from 1 to 4 p.m. this Saturday, September 4th. You can sign up online, and I think there might be a way to sign up downstairs.
I don't think so.
Oh,
no, just online.
You can only sign up online. So do that.
Yeah.
Sign up online.
Right, fabulous, and let us know you're coming. We will prepare for you. It's going to be a fun day. I've cleared the calendar. I'm coming.
You're going.
It's like I miss the singing. I miss the group singing. I miss
know.
the community singing. So I'm coming. I've cleared the calendar. Somebody's watching the kids. I'll be here. And today is the last day to join this iteration of Flight. So if you'd like to join the Absolute Abundance Flight class, it is transformative and we're having a great time. Today is the day to join. See me right after service or join us online. You can go online and fill out the form right now and join us in Zoom. It's available here in the sanctuary and on Zoom, a joint class at 1:30 today.
World Day of Prayer is coming up, everybody. So next Sunday, we're going to be doing an in-service where we're going to be talking about World Day of Prayer. We're going to be taking it to that next level. Really, how do we show up in the world as prayer, and what does that mean? And you're welcome. So on Wednesday evening, that's when World Day of Prayer starts. We are on our live stream, unitysanfrancisco.com's live stream. We will have Unity Village's beautiful World Day of Prayer service, so you can watch it there. And if you would like to have an in-person live experience, I am leading the World Day of Prayer at Unity in Marin. It's an outdoor service, so we're outdoors in the courtyard, and we have a harpist, and we've got all kinds of rituals. So if you'd like something that's a little more hands-on, feel free to join. There will be an online vigil that the Unity San Francisco Prayer Chaplains are going to be holding down. It'll start immediately after the World Day of Prayer service ends online, and it'll go till about midnight or so. So if you'd like to, we will have forms out starting next week.
Yeah.
Yep. For a World Day of Prayer requests,
Yeah.
for anything that you would like held in that prayer field.
And I believe it's already online,
Yes,
too.
it
Right?
should be online already.
Yeah. So check out our website for World Day of Prayer. The prayer tab on the website will lead you to it.
The world needs prayer, folks.
Yeah. And needs us to do it.
Yep.
So write your life story. Francine is many things to our community. I know she's online right now. Hi, Francine. And she is also an author and ghostwriter. And she's taught many, many people how to write their life story. She's offering this to us right now. So starting on September 16th, on Thursday nights via Zoom, so you don't have to leave your house. You can get into your pajamas at 6 p.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern and sit down and write that story you've always been wanting to write about your journey or your family's journey and get it on paper. This is a perfect time to do that, right? So, yeah.
Meditation. So September is here. Can you believe it?
Next week is September.
The end of summer is
Yeah.
next weekend. Oh, wow. So Reverend Elizabeth will be back. We are moving meditation from 10 a.m. to 10:15. What time is meditation?
10:15.
Yeah, and it'll end at 10:45. So for those of you who are watching online, same thing. You'll want to access it 15 minutes later. If you want to come and join in the actual sanctuary, she does a beautiful sound meditation. It's really lovely. So if you've never checked it out, you absolutely should.
Great. So that'll be 10:15 here in the sanctuary. Today we have our community connection, both here and then down in the hospitality room. We have a Zoom room set up that people in the hospitality can speak to the people in Zoom and vice versa.
You can sit at the table.
And
chat.
Thomas, do we have the headsets set up this week? We have
Yeah.
headsets, so you can put on headsets downstairs and speak to people in Zoom without having to hear all the noise in the hospitality room.
You don't have to be drowned out by everything in
Yay,
hospitality.
so we keep
around us.
evolving.
We're doing it. We're evolving. We're evolving, folks.
So come join us for that. Hospitality is downstairs. Lasagna, right, Misa? This is today's hospitality is hosted by the Harvey family, Misa and family. Thank you. Woo! If you'd like to join in and help with hospitality, let Henry, wave your hand, Henry. Let Henry
there.
know, or let us know online. And then the last thing is flight. Will be at 1:30, as I mentioned before.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So
That's
thank
today.
you to
Packed day.
everybody. Can we
Yeah.
just give Albert some love for that beautiful solo that he did? And I also want to acknowledge Callie. This is her first time singing with the music team. Can we give her some love as well?
All right. And as the music team comes up for our closing song, I'll take a moment to go over our closing affirmation. First off, thanks to everybody who made today's service possible. It really does take a village to do it, and my heart is so filled with gratitude for you. But our closing affirmation and our closing affirmation is, I lovingly create a world of safety, equity, and equality. We do that. So let's affirm it. We lovingly create a world of safety, equity, and equality. And so it is.
And so it is.
And I invite you to stand as you're willing and able to raise your voice in song with us as we sing Grateful.
Yeah.
Take it away.
All that I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all. All that I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing.
Woo!